There is a philosophy that has helped people endure situations so difficult that most would crumble under the weight. And today you will understand how this same philosophy can help you face the challenges of everyday life. You probably know someone who has dealt with circumstances that seem impossible for others to survive. Someone who keeps going while many complain and give up at the first sign of adversity. This type of perseverance is often linked to a Japanese concept called gaman, a cultural idea that has shaped ordinary men and women into incredibly resilient individuals. Gaman is not about temporary motivation or a burst of willpower. It is something deeper, tied to identity and inner discipline. It teaches not to avoid suffering but to walk through it with dignity and purpose. When you truly grasp this idea, you become much harder to break. Many people embody gaman without ever knowing its name, but when you understand it consciously, your ability to persevere becomes even stronger. Gaman is about enduring what seems unbearable with calm and control, facing difficulty without complaining, without seeking validation, and continuing even when life feels overwhelming. Silent resilience. This philosophy becomes clear when you look at the life of a young man named David, a 16-year-old high school student who carried far more responsibility than most adults. He did not grow up with privilege. His family wasn't starving, but they lived with constant financial pressure. His father had abandoned the family when he was young, leaving only his exhausted mother and two younger siblings. She worked 2 jobs, leaving before sunrise and returning late at night, her eyes showing a type of tiredness that sleep cannot erase. One day something changed in David. Seeing his mother's struggle pushed him to take on the role of the man of the house, not because anyone asked him to, but because he felt he had to. He made a silent promise to give his family a better life. But he had no money, no special opportunities, nothing except a sharp mind and a painful determination to change his circumstances. He saw education as the one path forward. If he worked hard enough to enter a good university, maybe he could change his family's destiny. So he began studying seriously, not only doing schoolwork but preparing for college entrance exams. But life did not make it easy. He worked part-time at a supermarket every day after school, helping pay bills and buy food. His schedule became brutally demanding, waking at 5:30 a.m., attending school, working 4 hours, returning home to help with his siblings, studying until midnight, surviving on 5 hours of sleep, and trying to exercise to stay healthy because he knew that if he fell ill, nobody could replace him. The first month was almost unbearable. He woke up exhausted, sometimes falling asleep on top of his books, arriving late to work and struggling to keep up with his studies. In the second week, he considered giving up his extra study sessions and focusing only on work. By the fourth week, he was nearly convinced that college was something only people with more free time could pursue. He approached his history teacher, a quiet older woman who had always looked at him with the eyes of someone who understood more than she said. Overwhelmed, he told her everything: his mother's struggles, his responsibilities, his job, his dreams, and his growing belief that he needed to give up on school to bring in more money. She listened carefully without interrupting. When he finished, she revealed something he did not expect. Her parents had been Japanese immigrants who suffered extreme prejudice. They faced hunger, rejection, and hardship on a level David had never imagined. And every night, she heard them say the same word to each other: gaman. It meant enduring adversity with dignity, continuing even when everything seems impossible, suffering temporarily for long-term transformation. She told David that he was already practicing gaman without realizing it. He worked, studied, took care of his siblings, and pushed forward without complaining. What he needed wasn't to give up, it was to understand the depth of what he was already doing. That night, David researched gaman and discovered 2 other ideas that changed everything. For him, kaizen, the concept of improving 1% every day, and ikigai, the purpose that makes you wake up in the morning. He understood at once. His purpose was to give his family a better future. Kaizen would guide his consistency, and gaman would give him the strength to endure. He wrote a sentence in a notebook: "I will persevere with dignity every day, 1% better for the people I love." The next day he woke up not more motivated but more determined. Determination lasts longer than motivation. He created a simple, realistic plan. Wake up at 5, do 15 minutes of exercise to protect his health. Study mathematics, get ready for school, attend classes, study for half an hour after school, work from 4 to 8, help his mother at night, study for college exams and go to sleep at 11. Not perfect, but possible. The first week under the new plan was still incredibly hard, but he continued repeating to himself that temporary discomfort was the price of the life he wanted. His body slowly adapted. After a few weeks, morning exercise became a habit rather than torture. His grades improved, his manager at work noticed his discipline, and his mother saw him becoming more focused. But difficulties always return. 3 months later, his younger brother fell ill, and David had to cover one of his mother's shifts, working 12 hours in one day. Exhausted, he returned home late at night, and when the alarm rang at 5 in the morning, he almost ignored it. But then he remembered gaman. He chose to continue, even at reduced intensity. 10 push-ups instead of 20, 20 minutes of study instead of 45. He kept the river flowing. The next week he caught the flu and again did less, but he did not stop. He had learned that 1 is greater than 0. Doing something is always better than doing nothing. Over time, people at school began noticing his consistency. One day, while washing a neighbor's car for extra money, someone suggested he should do it professionally. This sparked an idea. He began washing cars on weekends, earning money and learning the importance of quality and consistency. His neighbors recommended him to others. Soon, he had regular clients. He invested in better tools, improved his work, and grew his small operation. By senior year, he had 25 regular customers and even hired classmates to help. When it came time to apply to college, he wrote about perseverance, responsibility, and gaman in his essays. He was accepted to a state university with a full scholarship. His mother cried with joy, but he faced another tough choice. His car washing business was growing, and he could either continue it or focus fully on college. He realized he could do both, not because he had to, but because he could. He continued studying while running and expanding his business. Over the next years, he studied business administration and applied everything he learned to his small company. By graduation, he had 2 locations, several employees, and enough income to support his family. He paid off debts, helped his siblings, and eased his mother's burdens. And whenever people asked how he did it, he always answered with the same word: gaman, persevering with dignity when giving up feels easier. He explained that the people who transform their lives are not the ones who never feel fear or exhaustion. They are the ones who continue despite it. Life will always test you, challenge you, and give you reasons to quit. But when you choose to get up each day with purpose, improving 1% at a time, enduring with dignity, you become unstoppable. Gaman is not about being emotionless or pretending everything is okay. It is about making the conscious choice to persevere with honor, even in the darkest moments. When you understand that temporary suffering is the cost of permanent transformation, everything changes. When you define your purpose, improve a little every day, and sustain it through quiet strength, you discover that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. David had moments when he cried out of exhaustion, days when he felt defeated, but he never let the river stop flowing. Even on the worst days, he showed up at least a little. That consistency, that refusal to let gaps form, is what transformed his life over years. His story is a reminder that the greatest strength does not come from avoiding difficulties, but from facing them with dignity. It is the quiet decision repeated daily. No matter what happens today, I will continue. Gaman teaches that perseverance is not based on how you feel in the moment, but on who you have decided to become. Once your identity is anchored in perseverance, your actions naturally follow. Life will never align perfectly with your plans. Something will always go wrong. Someone will always need something from you, and unexpected burdens will always appear. But those who keep going, despite obstacles, are the ones who transform their reality. Gaman, kaizen, and ikigai together create a powerful combination. Purpose guides your direction. Small improvements create progress. Perseverance sustains you when everything feels overwhelming. This path is not easy. It demands sacrifice, patience, and moments of doubt. But when you choose it, you unlock a strength that cannot be taken from you. You learn that discipline is built, not inherited. You realize that even small steps, done consistently, create a life many dream of. David wasn't special. He simply refused to give up. Perseverance with dignity became his greatest strength, and it can become yours too.